back to Sixes and Sevens round 25 preview. I tell you what, 25 rounds, and this is probably the first preview we've got jack shit to talk about. Mitch hasn't farted in the street. I haven't done the bubbler. Mitch hasn't rooted a dog. There's not much to talk about. It's just, we're here to talk footy, but we will talk about one topic, I reckon. There's probably only one topic that's still floating around. That's probably also on top of that topic is Sandon Smith's looking like going to Newcastle, and the knives, the daggers, the innuendos, the smoke where there's fire is starting to heat up around the Cherry Evans speculation. Should he retire? There's Woodsy's come out, just announced the worst kept secret. Like, they're just not holding back. And obviously, as we know in rugby league, where there's smoke, there's fire. When you man Buzz Rothfield's starting the innuendos and shooting the shotgun for someone, it only means for one thing. And what's that, Mitchell?
I'll tell you what, you've turned a load news day into just fireworks, brother. Congratulations, host. I love your energy. I love what you've just brought to us in the first minute of this show. I'm excited now. You just nailed it, brother. I'll tell you what, I just had a giggle when you said Woodsy. Shout out to Woodsy. I love Woodsy. We both do. But he has become the rent-a-quote. I don't get paid a shitload of money on Triple M to do his show, and I'm happy for him. I love Woodsy. We both do. But he has become rent-a-quote. And I hope he's listening to this, Woodsy, and you can come back at me about it. But, brother, do you want to criticise someone or you want controversy? Call Aaron Woods.
Mate, but you know what? I do like that Woodsy and that come on the back of it. I listened to Wade on Triple M yesterday. Obviously, Wade, we're great mates with Wade, and he makes so much sense about footy. He understands it from, I think, both sides, but he doesn't hold back, Wade. But he doesn't do it in a way that attacks someone. He says it strongly because he truly agrees with what he's saying. And then obviously, there's some people jump on the back of it and just
getting into it. We're just going off the back of Wado's thing, and I actually heard Wado's comments. As you said, he says things without emotion, very clear, great footy brain, Wado. But I thought what he said was a great point. He said, around the Cherry Evans point, he said that when Cherry was signed at the Roosters, they're in a rebuild phase. The new guys, Hugo Savala, Sandon Smith, and all the new crew hadn't evolved yet. It was a great signing at the time. I actually saw, I think, Brian Fletcher comment on one of the other, I think it was on SEN or something, was all positive about the Cherry Evans signing. Fletcher was all for it. Matty Johns was all for it, sort of saying about the class of Cherry is always going to add value to a club. But when Wado mentioned it, he said at the time it was a great signing. It was $1 million. It was a big signing, but you're signing, at the time, a Queensland captain and a guy that's still in red-hot form, and everyone's speaking about how durable he is for his age. He can play till he's 40. Fast forward the tape, as we all know, goes without saying, Roosters have blooded all these young kids. The young kids have now got a chance to win a comp. That's the possibility, but definitely be in the finals. And they're all going from, Hugo Savala's going from an $80,000 contract to now potentially he'll sign some big money and he's the future. So, the wheels have turned. And what Wado said was you can't really blame either party. It's just an uncommon or unfortunate situation, whichever way you look at it, for Cherry or the Roosters. Does Cherry deserve all this pressure and criticism that he's not worthy and he shouldn't be there and he should retire? I don't think so. He signed the deal on their approach, but it's a difficult situation.
You are right, because when we did all hear about it for the first off, it was a bigger signing than when Cooper Croc stole your locker.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what it was talked about. But the thing is, why there's still so much hype and speculation. Cherry's yet to say he signed at the Roosters. The Roosters are yet to say that they've signed Cherry Evans. So, this is where Woodsy's just come out and said, just announce the worst kept secret, because it might take the pressure off from people talking about it, because it's so much now, it's just speculation. And then that speculation grows because now the Roosters, as you say, and Wado said, the goalposts have moved in what position the Roosters are in. So was it kept a secret in case this happens, or like there's just so many doors to open and close, I reckon, in this. Obviously, the one door that's closed, well, it's looking like closed, is Sandon Smith won't be at the club and he's on his way to Newcastle.
Big
Obviously,
signing,
then, and it's a good signing. And then obviously the next kid up, obviously you've spoke about Rodwell before. Obviously, then he's the next probably guy in, because it would have went Cherry, Walker, Hugo, Rodwell, or whoever else they got below there. Now all of a sudden that kid jumps up a queue on the ladder if there becomes injuries, or do they go out and find someone else? Obviously, they've lost Chad Townsend. If they don't sign Cherry Evans, I guess the thing is, if you're in the Roosters' position, do you stick to the deal or do you let it go?
Yeah, I'm just trying to sit on the question because it's a tricky one. Because who's to say Cherry's not going to be a good buy? And that's the honest
don't
truth.
know.
We don't know. And going off the record of Cherry's career, I've got nothing but praise for the guy. He's one of the best halfbacks, definitely one of the best players of all time for Manly. He's been a great competitor of both of us. I've got nothing but respect for Ches, and I really like Cherry. I know him reasonably well in some social situations, and he's always been a real good guy to me. So I only wish the best for him, and I want to state that. But at the same time, if Cherry signs on huge money and it fails, well, it's not a good move from the Roosters. That's black and white. But I've still got full belief that a Cherry Evans in a better squad like the Roosters with a better pack and a good energy in the group, mate, he could be their best player again. And that's not a surprise for me or for anyone. He's done it at every level for a long time. So it's a confusing question. That's why I had to sit on it for a little bit, because it is quite confusing, because there's so many different perspectives at the moment. Let's also go into Manly for 2 seconds. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on there, but there's so much innuendo. The way they've been playing the last few weeks, you've got ex-players coming out pushing for Matt Ballin for head coach. Sieves is getting knifed. There's still no one really coming out supporting the coach. There was talk today, I saw that the Travojevic boys are now not in full support of Cherry. This is all just media talk, and I suppose it's all what we're here to talk about. But yeah, it's not only on the Roosters end. This is a big drama from the Manly camp as well, which is sort of going on sort of under the radar a little bit. The effect it's had on that as well.
And it's not so much the improvement of Hugo Savala either. I think the improvement of Sam Walker since he's come back from what he was last year before his injury to where he is now, he's gone leaps and bounds. And when we had our interview with him about where his development in his game is going to grow, he said when he was injured, he sat back and watched footy from the box, from the sideline, watched training and worked out how he can improve his game to become better. And he's definitely done that. And also then on the back of that, you can't just put one of them to a 14 because they've signed Reece Robinson from the Cowboys. Connor Watson cannot lose his spot. He's a genuine 14 or he'll be a 13. So they can't just shuffle the decks and then go, okay, well, one will start on the bench and one will come in here, because all of a sudden the decks will have to shuffle along the pecking order with those players. Then you'd begin to lose players. I'm with you, but Cherry Evans is a great signing either way. He's a benefit for your club. If he goes into the coaching system, I think it's a massive loss for Manly if that was the situation that he went straight from retiring at Manly as a player or retiring as a rugby league player to go into a new system like the Roosters. Obviously, he's going to benefit the young kids coming through. He'll benefit Sam Walker. He'll benefit Hugo Savala. He'll benefit Toby Rodwell. Obviously, Cooper Cronk's been in there in that position. Maybe that means he will move on from the role he does. Yeah, I'm not too sure. But Cherry Evans will be welcomed wherever he goes, player or coach, I believe. But I guess, as we say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And when the top dogs in the media are starting to come for you, it's on the back of someone else pushing it.
Yeah. Let's talk about, when you're just talking, I'm thinking about Cherry playing his best footy at the Roosters and what, because all the criticism at the moment is not on Daly Cherry Evans, the legacy of 350 games, because everyone knows what a great player he is. The question mark at the moment is, like, is he past his best? And is the $1 million deal, he's not going to live up to it ability-wise? Where I want to go into an actual football chat around his style in the Roosters system. I think Cherry's physicality won't be a problem. They reckon he's still the fittest in the comp. He could easily play another year physically. I reckon the issues at Manly at the moment are way bigger than him. There's obviously a connection issue there. The style of footy that they're playing, they don't aim up in the middle consistently, so that affects Cherry's game as well. And there's no doubt the last couple of weeks, I've never really seen Cherry arm grab, and there's been bits and pieces in his game where he's been arm grabbing, and I've been that player in a season when I wasn't fully focused in some certain games, and it's when I'm not hard, I'm not fully steely, the chemistry in the team's not as good, and you could probably vouch for the same thing. We all can as halves. So I think Cherry style in the Roosters power game, I think he could be their best player again. In a 100%. New environment, the way Robbo is, Cherry's not going to struggle with a big price tag or dealing with pressure. He's been doing that his whole career. So all the white noise of that stuff's not going to worry him. The second thing that everyone's saying is he up to it? Well, in a Rooster system, when he's in a positive environment and he's got Trent Robinson as coach, and we both know Robbo knows how to get you going. Robbo would know his personality before he walks in the door and what he needs to do. He wouldn't be listening to all the white noise. But in that power game that they play that flat and fast style, I think Cherry's the best over ad-lib half in his prime at doing that style of footy. So I think football-wise, he'll be fine.
Yeah, well, when Manly had their power game, you look at the games Manly have been dominant this year to be on the back of their go-forward, when they had Paseka, when they had Olakawatu, when they had the punch coming in around the ruck, actually creating havoc, causing havoc around the ruck. That obviously invites Cherry to play his best football. When he got put out of Origin, he got beaten by a New South Wales pack. That Queensland pack was dismal. Obviously, game 2 and 3 was complete opposite. Cherry wasn't there, and Dearden got the treats of a dominant forward pack over New South Wales. Cherry wasn't there, and I echo everything you say. You said it perfectly, but I guess the thing is, does the club want to actually risk what could happen from that, the backlash of a Sam Walker getting the shits or a Hugo Savala getting the shits? Because we do probably know Cherry's got 1 year left. Whatever deal he's done, it's over the 1 year. So, do they want to upset the wagon with how it's going now? As you said, they're on the trajectory of playing finals. What happens in the final series is definitely unknown, but the way they're going and the way they're peaking at the moment, they're going to be there at the back end of the season in the finals. So on the back of those two players we've mentioned, that would be upset on a Cherry Evans arrival, I believe.
But when you just said there about the dynamics of who's going to get upset, if Sandon Smith leaves, Hugo Savala is going to get an upgrade regardless. But Hugo Savala from 80,000 is not going to. He's not a $600, $700 million player now. He might get upgraded to 300, 400, 500,000, which is probably reasonable for where he's at in his career. And they've probably got money as well as having Cherry there to keep us Hugo Savala.
Yeah, but can you keep Hugo Savala playing New South Wales Cup?
Well, there'd probably be a chat with him that he's got a decision to make. Does he leave his club that he's a local junior at, where he's still only a young kid, to probably potentially play a fair few games this year?
I'm going to put it back. You've been in this same situation before. Yes, at the time you were way above Hugo Savala in where you were at the Roosters. You'd won a grand final for the club. You'd played State of Origin. You'd played nearly 300 games for the club. When Cooper Cronk come, you left. So, and I'm not putting you and Hugo Savala in the same category because you're way above where he's at the moment. But he would have the decision to make. But yes, he's a local junior and it's his club that he wants to be at. You're in the same situation. When someone comes along and they're going to take your position, it's easy to sit, okay, well, I'll take me medicine and sit and wait and just get developed from this bloke. But you can sit there and I know the position you would have been in was, well, fucking, I deserve this position more than anyone else. So I can't answer that one. I've spoken time and time again about my feelings. Yeah, I know.
I left, and I was disappointed, and I took a different path. But to speak specifically on Hugo, as you said, I can't speak for him or how he feels. He's definitely at a different age to me. He's obviously just come into first grade, so his situation might be different. We don't know. This is all stuff that is obviously what the media is trying to push, is the fact that they signed Cherry. Does he deliver on the $1 million, and is he too old, or is he going to be up for it? And B, does it have a domino effect that it's going to piss off all these other younger boys that have now finally had a great year for the Roosters? And the storyline's changed. The storyline from 10 months ago was open arms for Cherry Evans. It was the greatest news ever. Now all of a sudden, because of the Roosters' form, the storyline's changed. From my point of view, both parties are not in the wrong, but it's put it all in a weird situation, and it gives us something to fucking talk shit about, Toddy.
But we both agree that he'll be a success in the Roosters system.
Oh, as I said before, like, I've got no doubt in the world from playing against Cherry and the respect I have for him as a player and the style he plays. If he's in the back of that pack at the moment, especially with the Reece Robson in there, running off flat fast in a big forward pack, mate, he'll be fine. He'll kill it.
Case closed. Case closed. DCE Roosters come out and announced you signed DCE from Mitchell.
It's a great signing. It's a great signing.
To be very clear, you boys do not think that they should backflip. You think they should go through with it.
I don't think if they've signed him and agreed, they shouldn't backflip from a moral point of view.
The Roosters are a powerful club there.
Should they?
No, they should not. And they won't. They won't. They won't. They will. If anything, the player will come out and retire. The Roosters aren't going to come out and go, we're not sticking to this deal. It's not like that. It's just, we're just talking about speculation. And at the end of the day, if anyone listen, we don't know nothing. This is just from,
exactly.
This is just on the back of where there's smoke, there's fire conversations. And as we said, it's gone from a slow news day to us talking about something for 20 minutes. Probably
we're
the best
both
thing we've talked
ex-Roosters
about in our whole life.
We're both ex-Roosters, and like we said, we know what a well-run club it is, and we also know how great Robbo runs the club there and how well he brings in personalities. Cherry will probably go to another level under Robbo, and that's the honest truth. That's like Robbo he's always rated Cherry. I remember Robbo for years playing against them in the glory days. He's always had such a big rap on Cherry. So he'd be licking his lips getting the opportunity to work with Cherry, no doubt. I'm sure Nick and that would all be so excited about it. As I said, it's just become a weird storyline now, and it's getting a lot of push because Manly is struggling, Cherry's not playing well, and the Roosters' young kids are going to another level. So to be continued.
Watch this space. All right.
You look like Buzz. You look like Buzz when you get your journo and start holding court on the body. I like it. You got a bit of Buzz about you. Hey, mate, what do you think about Cherry?
It's time to invite our great mate Gabe to come in and fire away for this weekend's rounds. And we've got some juicy chatters coming because I'm coming for this bloke over here. You, the bloke I'm pointing me pen at. I'm coming for you.
Cheddar.
Let's go, Gabe.
All right. Game 1, round 25. Game of the round, people are saying. South Sydney versus the Dragons.
People are saying, is that because you're a South fan?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I haven't heard anyone else in the whole world say that. I mean, the whole world.
Oh, Bunny's coming off a great win. Dragons coming off a tight loss. I think I know how you feel about it. We talked about it before the show, but tell the people what you reckon.
Dragons and my cheddar, baby.
I think it's an easy win. Good choice.
And you know what? I only picked this as my cheddar because I'm up and down about it. But like I say, I put my little cags on the line all the time and take outsiders. And when I looked at it last night, when I was doing a bit of a preview of this weekend's games, I noticed, and you've gone for the same sort of combination, is that I noticed that the Dragons were outside favourites, which I thought going into this week after beating the Raiders, the Sharks, almost beating the Warriors, that the Dragons would be favourites. But South, obviously they welcome back Cody Walker, Colin Matangi, players like that, obviously strengthens their team. But I'm going to stick with Shane Flanagan and the Dragons because what they've shown me over the last 3 weeks.
I can't argue with you. I reckon Dragons a good little cheddar for you. Congrats.
Thank you, mate.
I like
Thank you.
Dragons. No, I like the Dragons. We've spoken about last few weeks. They've been outstanding. It was a Cronulla game, Canberra game. Last week they should have won. If Sloan takes on the fullback with 2 minutes to go, Usain Bolt down the left try line. Go Sloan. Back yourself this week if you get an open space, my man. That's my advice on old legs. But it was a bee's dick last week. They were pretty much up for most of the game until the last 10 minutes against the Warriors. I like where they're at the moment. Their attack's silky. We speak a lot about their edge attack. We've been speaking about that since round one, really. They've been adapting to both sides now. Obviously, Fanua last week, was it? Fanua, the centre? I got a few names wrong.
Matthew
Just before I go on, a quick shout out to the footy nerds. I looked on the post, a couple of the reviews of the show, and I got pizzled for my lack of my ability to pronounce all the names. So I am listening to you. I do need to get better at it. So I just thought I'd pop that in there because a few comments were like, get the names right, Piercy. So put my hand up for that. But yeah, that left edge last week, he was great. He got the double. But yeah, they got threats all across the park. I just think South, even though they played well last week, I don't know if defensively they got it in them. They haven't had it in them all year. And I just think the Dragons have got them for, I think man for man, Dragons have got their measure for me.
Hey, footy nerds, keep attacking us and you'll get blocked.
It's pretty funny, actually. I was getting pizzled. I'm not on there all the time looking at comments, but I just wanted some positive feedback.
It's constructive, you take.
Yeah, it was constructive. No, we're open to it.
It is constructive.
We're a
it's hard
community.
sometimes. We don't go off script here. We're sitting here and we talk straight from the topic. So we don't go off script and have it all.
The big one was Mario Sevi. I said Mario. It was like Mario Kart.
Another one you might need to fix up is Ronaldo. You've called Ronaldo Mulatalo Ronald a couple of times.
Ronald McDonald Mulatalo.
Ronaldo.
Hey, just for the players, if they're listening, it's all respect, boys. No hard feelings. Got love for all of you, and the ones we speak about majority of the time is because we got you grabbing our attention. So no disrespect if I'm saying your name wrong. Some of these boys' names, but fuck, why can't you just be called like Jack Mark or something?
Yeah, life's easier.
Jack Mark. John Smith.
What do you think about Sloan on the bench? Still on the bench.
They've obviously the way you look at that is purely just to what's coming for the future. They've got obviously Tuapolotu on one wing, Allen on the other wing. They're contracted at a club next year. They're not going to play someone they're not have plans for 2026. Obviously, they need him on the bench. They're depleted with outside backs. They knew they needed that cover last week. I think they're short on players with injuries. He obviously offers a lot coming off the bench. He offers a lot anywhere. Charles Sloan, just if you get in the clear, take him on. But it'll be interesting, won't it, if he stays on the bench and if he falls off the 18. The big one that I noticed on the bench this weekend, I know he started there last week and come on and it was probably a masterstroke, was Cody Walker. I don't see him starting on the bench. I think he'll start at 6 unless they're just trying to get some footy in his legs before the season ends. To obviously preparing for next year. But there is talk Cameron Murray could be back for South.
Ooh.
They're saying that he's a chance of playing this season. I'm not sure if it's going to be this week.
Fuck.
Well, the only way you risk him is obviously if someone like Kevy Walters has spoke to him about potentially taking him away for Australia at the end of the year. Obviously, I've had an Achilles injury before. You are primed and ready to come back from, and it's one of those injuries that you don't risk. You don't come back too early. You come back when you're ready. I think he's been ready for a while. It's just about getting K's in your legs. I think you'll get a bit of footy. Getting footy with such a bad injury at the back end of this season helps him for next year. Because going into the start of next year, playing, say, round 1 with a long layoff, the doubt in your head. But if he plays maybe 1 or 2 games this year, even if it's just off the bench, his confidence – knowing that his leg's right going into next season, he'll be able to hit the ball, the ground running.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, for sure. Well, I was thinking it was ACL. I was having a brain snap. It was Achilles.
Snapped his ass. Achilles.
They're deadly, aren't they? Like you obviously said, you had one, and different guys have seen other. Like you can get, without being negative, it can be a strain on your calves, like long term, can't it? and speed
It's
as well.
yeah. I lost. Like I had hamstring injuries after it. I had bad hip after it. I lost a yard of pace, I reckon, from it. It's definitely an injury that you have to manage. But I'm sure this day and age they would have had him ready to go, and he looks fit with the way he's training and what I've seen in the vision when they were talking about that he will be back this year. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great game. I think that's why it's so close on the betting odds. Is there's going to be a good game. Both teams on their day can win. I just think the consistency of Dragons over the period of the season is going to be more greater than South. South have had injuries up and down. They're having a stable halves combination. Obviously, if they go with Humphreys and Walker, they haven't played a lot of footy together. Dry Gray's at the back. Yes, he'll complement that. But you look at the Dragons, their spine has been together for pretty much the whole season. They've had a few swaps and changes. Valentine Holmes about, but as we spoke about, Matt Fagai's been great for the Dragons on the left centre. Obviously, the right centre, Moses Sully, speaks for himself. So there's definitely he's a Buchanan. Sorry, he's been playing in the right centre.
Sully's played a fair bit, hasn't he? He's been outstanding.
Yeah, so I just think that's why I picked the Dragons. Also, yes, I'm going tactical wise for the Cheddar because they're outsiders, but I truly believe even if they were favourites and we weren't talking about Cheddars, I would pick the Dragons to win this game.
Just thinking when you were talking Dragons Mad Monday, it's going to be one of those Mad Mondays where you go, fuck, those 7 games. If only the ball bounced here. If only you hit me on the fucking short ball. It's one of them ones. Because it's true. The 7 games they've lost is literally, what did we say? It was 6 points or less.
4 or 6 points, yeah.
4 or 6 points. It'll be one of those coaches' meetings at the end of the year, Mad Monday, like, fuck, boys. But hopefully they can finish on a bang and improve again next year.
Oh, finish on a bang, get me a Cheddar.
That's all you're worried about, aren't
That's it. Couldn't give a rat's ass otherwise.
Hey.
Let's go around game 2.
There's one man on here that sleeps with his South full kit on, Monday to Friday, waiting with his fucking flag in front of the TV in Newcastle. You go past one of those.
He's the one
bloke. One of those old. You go one.
He's
one
the
of those
bloke
old
that's going to
houses
be
in
walking around
Newcastle.
Bali in his training singlet.
100%.
No, I actually did get one from Bali too last time.
Everyone in Bali's a South fan. You'll be sweet. You'll be one of the bra boys.
I know you aren't betting men now, but I would have taken you up on this one. I reckon South win.
All right.
Let's go.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Well, I thought you didn't bet.
All right,
I
mate.
can bet
Next
with you.
question.
I can bet with you, pal.
All right, 50, Toddy. We'll go 50.
All right.
I'm
Sweet.
just picturing Gabe in Bali in 2 weeks. Full South kit. Sitting at the fucking pub in Cooter.
Next game, first game of Friday night. This could be a grand final showcase here. Panthers versus the Raiders. Panthers
What a
will
game.
back a couple of big names. Yeah, how do you see this one going, boys?
Talking about betting, the Panthers I know the Panthers have won 4 competitions. They're sitting 5th on the ladder. Raiders are out on the top of the ladder. They're $2.60. And the Panthers are $1.60. I'm going to go.
That is strange.
Fuck, this is such a hard one because I'm going to go Raiders.
So weird. Yeah, I've gone Raiders.
I'm going to go Raiders because I just think their pack. I was thinking about it before. If someone asked me a question, how I think the Raiders will beat the Panthers. I think the Raiders will start with a power game, so they'll start with Papali. They'll start with Horsburgh. They'll start with Joe Tarpany. I reckon they'll go all balls out in that first 20. And I reckon if they go balls out in the first 20 and get the jump on the Penrith pack, I reckon they can have some joy if they can upset their middles and stop their go forward. But it's not the go forward so much for Penrith. It's their line speed from when they kick. So they need to ruffle their feathers when they're running the ball. So they need to actually slow play the balls up. And no, we say that's what creates less momentum and the quick play the balls. But I mean by physically getting into them. So like making it, and it's hard to say when people go, well, you can only be as physical as the game lets you. But I'm like, they go at them. They go at them together. They hunt in a pack mentality. They don't just go 2 in a tackle, 3 in a tackle. They actually use up their energy to try and upset the Panthers' middle. And obviously the head of the snake of the Panthers' middle is Moses Leota. And then he's got his workers around him. But then you look at the Canberra's head of the snake, there's a few of them. Probably, like I said, the guys I just mentioned, there's a lot to knock off for the Canberra. So I think if Canberra can have joy in the first 20 and strike early, they can win the game. But if they give Panthers the cruisy start and get into the groove, let Cleary kick where he wants to, let Edwards find meters on back 5 carries, they'll be in for a tough night because I think Panthers can go to work if the Canberra let them do it. But I'm going to go with Canberra because I believe they'll have a plan to ambush in that first 20.
Fuck, you sound like Sticky, mate. Your analytic mind there is outstanding, my mate.
He's on fire today, isn't he?
You had me
I've trained
mesmerised.
early. I've been up at 4:30, trained.
No, you've been very good you've been good all your life, but the last few weeks your analytical is very on point. I thought I'd just mention that. Very, very good. Very good game plan you just said, Dan. I think you said a good point actually going off what you said when we spoke about Manly playing 2 sideways a couple of weeks ago, and you said Gus Gould spoke about teams trying to go around Canberra and it doesn't work, or they have a lot of trouble with them. I can see Penrith, the mastermind of Nathan Cleary. I think there'll be a lot of change of directions this week. You spoke about trying to win the battle of field position and possession. I reckon Nathan will change angles a lot this week. I think Canberra's pack is definitely a better pack than Penrith, 100%. I think their ability to offload, with a couple of the losses of Penrith's big players in the middle over the last couple of years, they're definitely not at the best over their last 5 years as far as their pack. I don't think. Like, them to win a comp this year is not going to be off the back of as good a pack as they've had in the past, but I think Canberra's pack at the moment is as good as anyone. Their ability to offload, their late footwork. So I just think, like you just said, it's going to be a real battle through the middle. Penrith with lots of change of directions. Both teams playing a lot of footy from the midfield. Canberra, as they always do, challenging teams from the midfield. I'm actually really excited about the outside backs clash. Jenkins and McLean, Savage and Stewart on the other side. They got Tomoko and I might have got it wrong. Might be Tomoko and Savage.
No, I think that's right.
Crisp, sorry. Yeah. Weak sniffing around the back. Plays a similar style to Edwards to an extent. So it's like for like. So like you said, it's going to come down to who wins possession. I'm going for Penrith this game because of the great Nathan Cleary. We say it all the time. He relishes this shit. It's going to be not much difference between both players, but I think Nathan will be the difference because of his game plan to work the Canberra middles over. He'll know what play to do at the right time. I think he's got a little bit more nous than the Canberra halves. Well, a lot more nous than the Canberra halves, as good as they are. He's the best player in the world, and I think that'll be the difference.
Yeah, what you just spoke about, Mitch, is what backfires from my game plan for Canberra. Is that Canberra, if they work hard and go hard early and try and front load their energy to try and ambush Penrith, and then all of a sudden on the flip side, Nathan turns around and goes, okay, if you want to do that, I'm going to test his back through the middle. I'm going to make our centre's back row is going to come back through the teeth here and make his change direction. Obviously, that would also work. So it's going to be a great game. It's probably those Gabe spoke about the game before the Bludgers as the game of the round. This is the game of the round. I think it's a grand final. It's potentially a grand final.
We're talking
I fell in love
TV.
with the Raiders in the 90s in this grand final,
Yeah.
Panthers versus Canberra. It brings back those memories. And it's so good to see. And we talk about the bleed green and shit like that. And obviously, we always talk about, I got to play for the team I love. And it's hard for people to go, who do you love now as a player? Because I played for other clubs. But it's so good to see Canberra sitting where they are.
You're from Canberra, aren't you? You're a Canberra kid. Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, well, it's who I went for from when I knew what rugby league was. It was a team that I went for, and it's so good to take my podcast hat off, my commentary hat off, and just sit there and watch as a fan. That it's so good to see, and that's probably half the reason why I've gone with Canberra to win this game. But when you talk about what you two talk about, it could easily turn around and go, okay, well, I'm going to change my bet. But I think Canberra win.
You wouldn't have said it for the last 5 years. I really believe, just to wrap it up, that Canberra's pack can ambush Penrith. Like you said, I think their pack is the way that they run the ball, their footwork, their agility, and their athleticism. They're the best and most exciting pack in the comp, and I think that's where they got Penrith's measure. But we just keep saying it. Anytime you try and write the great man off just a little bit, they tried to push him in a hole for a little bit after Origin. And he stayed down for about a week, and the King's been back. King Nathan Cleary.
After a controversial loss as well. Fuck, he might come out with a point to prove.
No, he's always got a point to prove. He's just fucking always on. He's just a genius. I think I'm excited. Like you said, Toddy's. I don't have as much passion for Canberra, if any, to be honest. Like my great mate, they're talking about Canberra. I'm just excited to watch the game. I don't have any alignment to any of these teams, but I love watching. Great players and great teams, and that's why I'm excited for this one. It's going to be the game of the round. The thing is, it's just worked out well from a spectator point of view. 2 big games back to back. They had the Melbourne Penrith last week, and they got the Penrith Canberra this week. Great television, isn't it?
Get your popcorn and your frozen Coke out, fellas.
Next game, another 2 teams in the top 8. The Storm versus the Bulldogs, playing at Amy Park in Melbourne.
Another cracker.
Yeah.
Bulldog. Storm.
Yeah.
Dogs are getting the knife put in them now after last week. It was only a week before they killed it.
That's always there.
We were critical too, but how they bounce back this week is how they'll go in September. From my point of view.
Do you think they bounce back?
I don't think they will, no. I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll play well, which they always do. But I went into detail on our show 2 days ago around where they got exposed against the Roosters in that power game. And they're playing against another team that's power game and ad-lib over the advantage line footy better than anyone in Melbourne. So it's another test in the middle for them. And I spoke about, I think they're smaller pack, and their lack of DNA because it's only fresh from Serraldo. I don't think it's ingrained in them yet under pressure. Melbourne's got 25 years of DNA. They can just go back to kicking the corners, rolling the ruck, completing high, bashing fuck out of you in corners off a good kicking game off their halves. You know what they're going to do. Can the Dogs do that? Can the Dogs be as clinical? Can Galvin step up and run the team when the ship's not going as he planned? That's what we're... That's the thing. That's the doubts at the moment, and it's another big test this week.
Well, it's a greater test than last week for Galvin, isn't it? Because you're coming up a team that's going to be relentless, like you said, that they win games on kicking to the corners, making teams come out of their own end, putting pressure on them to make errors so that they can pounce. They're not going to give up any freedom for the Dogs to do that. So, what are you saying to Galvin, or if you're in Galvin's position this week, what are you saying to your troops?
I think Galvin just needs to nail the game plan and keep his game really simple. I mean, it's
go back to basics.
Well, you can vouch for this and go off the back of me, but anytime you're a little bit erratic or you're not fully sure of your role, the last thing you need to do is overplay and look for the trick play or look for plays to get you out of trouble. You got to go back to just kicking well, tackling well, supporting well, and doing the system that is put in place at training first and foremost, which is their structures, completing sets, getting to this point on the field. Like, he just needs to take control of that stuff first and foremost. Give the team and the players around him stability and comfort, and then off the back of that, his little instinctive moments will come. I just feel like where he's at in his career, and we've been there. When I was a kid, it was the same. Sometimes when you're going through these sort of form slumps and everyone's telling you how to play, especially when you're a guy like him who plays off instinct, you can get a busy mind. You can start thinking about all these different ways to get yourself out of trouble. Just got to go back to simple stuff. And especially in this team when he's got Burton outside him and their best style of footy is conservative style, e.g. fucking Sexton when he was there. Just do that well, play conservative, and then the other stuff will come off the back of it. But it takes time to learn
Well
that,
said.
as we know. It takes time to learn that. I feel sorry for Galvin. Not feel sorry for him because all us halves went through this shit too. It's all part of it. You got Gordy Tallis coming out the other day, the great Gordy Tallis, saying that he could potentially be the next Hastings. Like everyone's out. They're either rapping him saying he's the greatest player they've ever seen at 20 or 19, and then there's other people saying he's going to get washed out the back door. Like, from my advice to you, Galvin, we've all been there. Toddy could say it. I've been pizzled from you're the worst player, you're the best player. You know what you got to do, mate? Just go back to basics, kick the corners, run the structure that your coach wants. You don't have to impress anyone else, and your moments will come off it.
The Storm have Munster listed at fullback again. Did you like him at fullback last week?
I love Munster at fullback.
For sure.
Not missing a beat with him in like out of the halves, you reckon? The boys still well, I mean,
No,
they won the
because
game. Clearly they didn't.
a Munster that touches the ball more than any other player is a better team. And obviously, well, people will go, okay, why doesn't he play fullback of the week? Because the bloke that's in their fullback position complements Munster, Hughes, Grant when they're all together. I think when you lose someone like Hughes and Pappenhausen at fullback, you need that little bit of flair. And I think when you've got Munster and Wishart, they need that punch out the back. And while Meaney is good at it, I think when Meaney's out the back of Hughes, it's a lot easier for Meaney to play. But when it's Munster and Wishart, he doesn't get as much freedom to play at the back because they're not as square as the way Hughes plays. They play very different. They play pretty much similar. They're run threat first. So I think it opens up the field for when the young, what's his name, Pezzett comes in. He plays square, but also gives him time to have Munster to relieve him some pressure of his kicking and things like that. So I think that's why they've gone with him. Obviously, it gives Pezzett a lot of reps in the starting team. He showed on the weekend what he can do. So I think it's perfect that he stays there.
What it does too as well is the defence. You know, when you've got a fucking great fullback, we always talk about the attack of a fullback. But when you're a great defensive fullback, like we've played with the best of them, they change your whole defensive line. And one thing he does there, he creates defensive improvement. And so I think that's a big thing for him as well. As good as Meaney is there, Munster's know-how and all that sort of stuff at the back, I think, in big games, big moments, he gets it probably that little bit more.
Next game on Saturday, Manly Seagulls versus the Dolphins, 4 Pines Park. Could be Cherry Evans' last game there.
Cheddar.
Cheddar incoming.
Cheddar, not for the great Cherry Evans and Manly. It's Cherry Evans' 350th game, if I read right. So congratulations. We'll go into that in a second, I'd say. But Dolphins for me. My Dolphins, our Dolphins. We're the Dolphins. We have some favourites on this. We don't even mean to, but I feel like, just when I brought it up, I feel like we're very supportive and positive about the Dolphins. We love their style of footy. But my Dolphins, our Dolphins, your Dolphins, the last couple of weeks have been a bit down on form. The boys, and I'm not too sure. We've obviously got a love affair with Isaiah Katoa, so that's sort of probably why they're our second favourite team. But besides Canberra, obviously for you, and South for Gabe. But
well, they're our first favourites. So yeah,
that's what I said. That's why I said second, Gabe. But yeah, I think they've been down the last few weeks, but I reckon they're due for a big one. And Manly's giving me no confidence. I'm surprised Manly's favourites. There you go. Without trying to be a controversial man, I just don't understand why how Manly can be favourites against the Dolphins with the form that they've showed. Yeah, Dolphins have been down the last couple of weeks, but how are Manly favourites against the Dolphins?
Yeah, well, we spoke about it on Monday that the Dolphins were up 28-14 against the Broncos. Take Reece Walsh out of the equation. Dolphins win that game the other night. I don't believe Manly's got a Reece Walsh to pull them apart. I don't believe they've got the capabilities. Yeah, but he's got to get the ball. He's not out the back on every play. He comes in here and there. I'm with you. I think Dolphins win. They're pushing to stay with the top 8. It might be a task too much, but I reckon they'll get the job done. I reckon they'll put too much pressure on the Manly team. They welcome back Kafusi this weekend. Obviously, Hammer's named at fullback with Trey Fuller on the bench. I think they'll swap that again. But if they don't, Trey Fuller coming on through the middle in tied forwards with the Manly's tied pack around Lodge and stuff like that. I reckon they'll have a lot of joy. I'm with you. I think they haven't been at their best, but we spoke about them that they were that close of beating Broncos the other night if things went their way and they didn't have Reece Walsh in their team. So I'm with you. I think the Dolphins win, and I don't like saying it because they're your cheddar. They're outsiders, so then mine are going to win. So I'll get 3 points. Yours will win, so you go one more in front of me. So, but it is what it is. I'm coming for you, but
they're both good cheddars. They're both, as we said, we're risk taking. But I'm surprised. I'm probably not as a bigger risk. I'm probably not as big a risk taker as your one because I don't understand why they're not favourites. Like you just said, you reminded me of last week's game. They were fucking good for pretty much all game. Where if you look at Manly's form over the last couple of weeks, physically and just as a team spirit, they haven't been in the fight at all. Where Dolphins have fucking been... Dolphins are due for a big one for me. And there's still finals hopes.
Well, they got pizzled by the West Tigers last week. And I know the West Tigers' improvement's been outstanding. And they'll be hard to beat again this week. But they were lapped by West Tigers last weekend, Manly. And as you said, it's not just all in the back of the Cherry Evans eye. There's so much more shit going on at that club that just keeps...
What is it?
Well, as you said, like there's speculation that their two players in the Todoroviches are off Cherry. There's speculation that the old boys are pushing for Matt Ballin, and that's getting louder and louder. So who knows?
350 games, but is it 2 game, Terry?
Yeah, that's
Ben Hunt's 350 this week, isn't it?
Fuck, that's big effort. Weird it's fallen on the same date. Both of them starting pretty much at the same time. But yeah, 350. What an unbelievable achievement to the great Daly Cherry Evans. So congrats, mate.
Next game on Saturday, the Gold Coast Titans coming up against the Warriors, who are still in fourth. Can you put a line through the Warriors for the grand final, boys? Because they're not as far favourites in this game as a team that's coming fourth versus the team that's coming last should be.
Through the grand final, maybe, but fuck, they're still in the hunt. If you're in the top 4,
it's
you have
final
a chance.
Footy game. Anything can happen. Once the final eight's done and finals comes around, it's a completely different ballpark. Obviously, everything changes. Do we think that they'll put pressure on teams in the finals? We don't know because we don't know what Warriors we're going to get. Will they beat the Titans this weekend? I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think they got the Titans this week, as Toddy just said. I think the worrying thing for the Warriors, we just spoke about Canberra and we spoke about Penrith, the contest there. We spoke about Melbourne. We name dropped Cleary and Munster. They don't have a Cleary and Munster at the moment. That's the difference for me, for Warriors. They don't have that. They had it with Metcalf to an extent with how good he was going. He was leading the Dally M's. He was the favourite. He's done everything all year. Perfect. He had a great crew around him. Mitch Barnett was the other one who was their leader. So understandably, they've dropped a few notches. But for me, in those big heavyweight title fights against the top dogs, they don't have a Cleary, they don't have a Munster, and it usually comes down to that. So that's the only reason for me. But as far as, Halasima, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Toddy spoke about last week, little fullback, had a blinder. They got class. Like, if all of them play their best footy, they can pull your pants down. But I just think they just lost a little bit, understandably.
So do you think it's a pizzling? Do you think Titans can show up? And if Titans are to get the win here, where do they score their points?
Well, it's on the back of Foran, Campbell, Brimson, Keanu Kinney coming off the bench, and they go forward with their pack. Obviously, they've got... You can name a list of players that are going to perform for the Gold Coast Titans. It's just what happens on the other end of the pitch is that... If the Warriors let them dominate field position, dominate momentum, the Titans can come out and pull out an upset. But it's on the other hand, if the Warriors don't let them have any joy with their momentum, finding quick play of the boys, having the rub of the green with the field position, it's one of those things that they will get beat. But if we walk away here on Monday morning when we're sitting here having a chat about and the Titans win, I'm not going to be surprised. Like it's one of those things that they can
100%.
turn up and win this weekend.
100%.
Like it's not one of those games. Like for me, we've seen it happen this year. Titans turn up and beat Manly. Titans turn up the other week and nearly beat someone. Like they've got the potential to win. So when it's not like, oh shit, the bottom team just beat the Warriors because they're a poor team. They've got class players in their squad. They just haven't put it together. But if they put it together, they can beat the Warriors.
And as you said, Toddy, they don't have that. We spoke about, I think last week's show, we spoke about when a team hasn't got the pressure. Like they're planning their away trips already, aren't they? They've got the WhatsApps going. They're in Gold Coast.
And they need to
Bali.
get off the bottom of the ladder.
Well, they're in Bali.
They don't
in 4
want a
weeks.
wooden spoon.
They're in Bali in 4 weeks. You know what I mean? They're going into training with freedom, which doesn't work. If there's on the bottom of the ladder for a reason. But these type of teams can be dangerous for a team. Warriors, on the other hand, fully grand final, head on, under pressure, coaches driving them at training every day. They need to win. It's a different energy. So it can go both ways. It can either stick for the Warriors. Titans could be disgraceful and sort of play the way they've played all year. Or if the pressure gets to the Warriors and things don't stick, and a Titans team that's just loose and free with great players, Foran, Campbell, Brimson, that can put points on you, well, there's every chance that they can blow them off the park. But you know what? Knowing this competition, Titans have every chance of winning. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. And it wouldn't surprise me if Manly beat the Dolphins and fucking your cheddar loses too. That's the way the comp is, brother. What are you drinking there? Vodka?
Water.
Next game on Saturday, Parramatta Eels versus Sydney Roosters, Combank Stadium in Sydney. Roosters easy favourites here. What do you reckon, boys? Either he's going to tip an upset.
I'm not going to tip an upset, no. I think the Roosters win and they'll continue on their form. But it won't be as easy as it says it's going to be in the betting, that's for sure. I think Parra will put up a fight on the back of Mitchell Moses' kicking game, on the back of what they've got in their team. We spoke about that same thing in that last conversation about Titans upsetting the Warriors. We've had games this year where the Parramatta Eels have come out and pulled the team's pants down on the back of Mitchell Moses kicking long, Addo-Carr, Lomax putting pressure on their kick chase, making blokes work for what they've got. Parramatta will play footy. They're another team that's got nothing to lose, that they're ready for the off-season, ready to start preparing for next year. So they'll go out there with that mentality. And if the Roosters take them lightly early, Parra can have some joy. Do Parramatta win I don't think they'll win the game, but it won't be as easy as people are saying. And I don't think the Roosters have as much joy as they did last week against the Dogs, because I reckon the Parramatta Eels will put some pressure on them to make them earn their win.
I think the only way the Roosters will lose this game is if they shoot themselves in the foot or Mitch Moses has a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Unless if Mitch Moses has a 10 out of 10, which he's capable of, and the way he's playing, he'll relish in this, Mitch, I reckon. Like, he's got nothing really to play for at the moment except dominating and developing his team. Like, I'm not trying to be negative about that, though. He can't make finals. He's obviously got an Australian Ashes at the end of the year, which he'll probably be a part of. But his mentality is just going to be about taking down as many good players as he can. So I'm excited to watch him just try and carry his team on his back. He's done it before this year when he's got back. So that, for me, if he gets a 10 out of 10, they're a chance. Or if the Roosters shoot themselves in the foot, I just don't think, if they're at their best, completing at 90%, I can't see them losing. Too big, too powerful, too much to play for. They would have got a lot of confidence out of last week's game. And yeah, they're in their sweet spot at the moment. Tedesco's just too good. Let's say it again. 7 Jack Gibsons played there for 7 years. Say no more. Teddy for man of the match. Up against his old mate too. good mates, him and Mitch Moses, Tigers days. So that'll be a good contest. I'm looking forward to watching this one. And Farnua White last week. How good was he? He was outstanding.
Weapon.
I've got him for another try as well.
Next game, Sunday. Newcastle Knights up against Brizzy Broncos, Mac Jones Stadium. Who wins this one?
Broncos for me, and just on the back of what I spoke about when Broncos lost Ezra Mann and Reynolds, will be on the back of what Reece Walsh has done last weekend. They'll have another week at training together, coming up a Newcastle team that isn't performing at the moment. Obviously, it's always a hard task going to Newcastle, but just on the back of what they've done last week, then they'll get better at this week at training. They'll have more joy, more time repetitions together. I haven't seen, obviously, the Broncos pack haven't been as dominant as they have been in their other games. Last week was on the back of Reece Walsh and their outside backs. I think you'll see a different mentality from the Broncos pack this weekend. I reckon they'll, since Origin and Haas has been in and out, not in and out, but he's been hampered with injury. I reckon after last week, they'll get a little bit more joy and they'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, I think Broncos, I think they'll... I'm excited to watch how they play. Obviously, Toddy touched on it in detail last week, the dynamics of the halves. Walsh's impact there, I think the Broncos are going to have a field day here, brother. In saying that, we touched on it a bit, Sandon Smith. If he used to go to Newcastle from a bit of a shining light for them, big signing for Newcastle, Sandon Smith, I reckon. Like with depth, with the injuries that happen quite often to Kalen, Dylan Brown there, obviously, but I think it's a good pickup for Newcastle. If it was at a good
So you
price.
go 7, Dylan Brown 7, Sandon Smith 6, Kalen 1.
Nah, well they got Fletcher Sharp there. For me, he'd be ahead of Sandon probably at the start. Being a local kid, got his fingerprints on the team already. But are you saying to me? You're saying Sandon's not going unless he's starting? I was thinking it's an impact as just having him in the squad.
I actually forgot about Sharp.
Yeah,
I actually forgot about Sharp.
I don't think they'll play Sandon over Sharp, being a local guy and how good he's played. I think he'd be going there as part of a squad then, and then he'd obviously get his game. That's how I picture it. But then again, like you just said, when I said it, I'm thinking you'd think Sandon would want to go somewhere where he's starting consistently, I suppose.
Last game of the round. This one could be a decent watch considering how the Tigers are moving along. The Tigers up against the Cowboys. Tigers favourite this week against the struggling Cowboys. Who you sticking?
This is a hard one because the form of the Cowboys last week, if they can take that into this week against a Tigers team, that will give them that opportunity to the things that I was talking about when I talk about the Cowboys, the momentum, the rub of the green, the freedom for their halves and their strike players to play footy. Tigers can give teams that opportunity, but if they strangle them and force them into playing out their own end and no chances of momentum or any luxury of just having a freedom to play footy, which Tigers have been good at the last few weeks and given themselves that opportunity to do that, it's a team that wins the battle. Wins this game, and I'm going to go with Tigers just because the way they've been building and the up and down of the Cowboys doesn't give me confidence to pick a Cowboys team. So I'm going to go with the Tigers, and just because their improvement, their time together, the way they've been playing, and their strike players at the moment are probably playing better consistently.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tigers too. Toddy pretty much nailed it. I think the Cowboys' defence, we've gone over it all year. We don't keep sticking the knife in, but yeah, their defence has been really poor. If their defence is off a little bit against Stafford, Toa, Taylor May on the other side, and then Dewey and Jerome and Buller and that jumping around, they can have a field day, I reckon. And they've been good, the Tigers. when they win and when they're on. And I just think Cowboys will leak too many points, I think. But I think it's a good game of footy. I reckon historically, Tigers-Cowboys has always been great games. They've always played, even when Thurston and Bowen and that were there. And Tigers had Benji and Scotty Prince. They obviously played grand final 05. And then plenty of times I've watched blockbusters over the years with the two teams. I don't know. Both play a similar style. Well, historically, a lot of good footy, always good halves. So I think it'll be a good game of footy. Looking forward to watching it. There's actually a good game I remember watching when Milky Watts and Robbie Farah punched on. Remember that? Just thinking about just games of the Tigers, Cowboys. They've had great clashes over the years. I remember watching so many blockbusters. Obviously, the grand final, like I said. But, yeah, I remember Robbie and Watsy punching on in the scrum. So, obviously, the Benji... Well, Robbie... No, what was it? Benji... Yeah, was that the flick pass? Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Benji Todd Payton era.
Yeah. Toddy Payton's coaching against his old team. So, there's plenty of good storylines. And I'm excited to watch the speed of their fullbacks and halves. Dearden, Jerome Luai, Dewey, Scotty Drinkwater, and Buller. That's a good contest. It's enough for you to just watch that game. And then the forwards too. Cohen S up against Terrell May. There's some good contests. Nene against... Who's the back rows for the Tigers?
He's trying to make shit up now.
I'm trying to sell the game.
It's hard to talk about. Yeah,
no,
I'm trying to sell the game.
For it. I like watching
when you got juicy
Cowboys.
clashes like the Panthers and the Raiders, and you go down to the Tigers and Cowboys, it's just completely two different ballparks to talk about. One you can
caught my
sit
bluff,
and talk
Toddy.
about for days.
It's true. These are teams that can't make the eight. We're going to fucking dress it all up.
Yeah.
But I was legit.
You can't polish your turd. You cannot polish your turd.
You can't polish your turd. No, historically they've had great contests. Let's hope they do. Maybe Benji and Toddy Payton just have a comeback for one game. That'd be good. Bring it back. Scotty Prince, Thursto, Matty Bowen. Fuck, how good was he, Matt Bowen? Wow.
Look, there could be plenty of points in this game. That is one thing to look forward to. I mean, I see a lot of tries, but yeah, outside of that.
There's a lot of tries. It is interesting, though, when you speak about it, like some of these lower teams, sometimes their style of footy, they move the ball slicker than the top four sides. They just don't have the whole complete game. But some of their shape sometimes is fucking as good as all the top teams. Just that defence is the issue.
What do you think about that, Toddy? True or nah?
Toddy just wants to go to bed.
Like I said, he's just trying to polish your turd. It's not going to bed. I've got to start my day. I've got to start my day.
Polish your turd. That's fucking...
Polish your turd.
That's mad.
The word of the day, the line of the day is polish your turd. And for anyone listening, if you're having a shit day, try and polish your turd by having a great day. All right, as we say, when it starts ticking over an hour, we start talking too much garbage. So that is a round 25 preview. Wrap, done and dusted. Have a great weekend of footy, and we'll see you all next week. Love yous and see you soon.
Later, footy nerds.